What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Planet Coaster. This is episode 38 now on the series. In the last episode, we added 3 more flat rides to the park. Now, adding the shops to the park on the outside, we had the East Central, the West Central, and of course the Central shops. We obviously did that a little bit premature, so I added those flat rides to hopefully coax some of these visitors into coming out to the outskirts of the area. Now, I did take care of whatever issue we were having over here with Scissorp, still a great name, and that issue was that the prestige level was 0. It was completely nothing, and I still don't know why it did that, but the only way I could solve it was unfortunately deleting the original ride and adding in a new one. So we have a prestige of 304. I'm not even gonna mess with the sequence just in case it happens again, and we're gonna be charging $12.17 for this. Now, keep in mind, when you first open up one of your park saves, oh god, we had another freaking vendor quit. All of the flat rides prestige levels tend to be completely reset, as if no one has ever ridden them, and that's because most of your prestige comes from what they call ride experience, meaning that whatever experience your guests have on that ride. So until the ride completes a full cycle, your prestige level isn't gonna go up. So we added Scissorp over here, which is actually called Scissor. We have Psychola, and we have Power Moves over here on the east side. I am working on my sense of direction, you guys. I'm trying to get it down pat here. It's very, very embarrassing when you're on the east side of the park calling it the west side, so I promise I am trying to work on that a little bit. So I'm gonna stick with the name Scissorp for the scissor. If you guys have any suggestions for Psychola, leave that down in the comments, or if you have any suggestions for power moves, again, leave that down in the comments. I can't ever think of any good punny names for most of these flat rides. That's how we ended up with Robo Eagle 1 and Robo Eagle 2. Now you're probably wondering what we're going to be doing today, and we are going to be adding another roller coaster in the park here. This will be our 3rd coaster now. I didn't have very much success with the underwhelming roller coaster, hence the name we ended up with. But after tweaking some things off camera, it turned out not so bad. The Planeteer has been fantastic since day one. The only thing I did off camera to this one was tweak it so it's a bit more symmetrical, but we are going to be adding our next coaster all the way out here right behind Power Moves. It seems like most of our guests don't really make their way all the way out to this building, and I'm trying to drive as much traffic as we can. So we are sitting at 28,000 bucks, which is really surprising. We're losing about $1,000 on our shops and facilities, but I think that is subject to change once we get a little bit more traffic to the outside areas here. So even with the addition of Power Moves, again, people really don't care. They don't want to come out this far, so we're going to be adding another coaster right in this area here. But I think I want to do this one a little bit different, and I might be doing a similar thing for these other areas as well, the central, or I guess north central, the west, and the east. And that is, instead of confining our coasters to this sort of D shape right here, I'm gonna use both. So even though we're gonna have another coaster over here, I think if we try to get 2 coasters to sort of use these 2 areas and share the space a little bit, I feel like that would work out well. I don't know for sure. We may need to have one be higher than the other so we can kind of cross streams, I guess. It's not a urinal, but you guys get what I'm saying. So the first thing we have to do out here, we already have our queue started, but we're gonna have to grab the queue for the Planeteer. I'm not even gonna attempt to grab the underwhelming queue just because of the amount of letters we have on the sign. I don't feel like deleting that many letters. So we're gonna go with the Planeteer queue for the time being. We're gonna use the advanced move and duplicate, rotate it. This is 90 degrees, guys. Look at me, I went to school. And then we're gonna drag this to the right, all the way over here. Once again, we're gonna have to get rid of some of these lights that are in the way, and then we can drag it out to where we need it. So first, we're gonna have to try to center this as best we can on this queue path, and I don't think we did too terribly bad right off the bat. It does have to come over to the right slightly, so we can place that down here. Let's go into edit building. Of course, we have to get rid of these lights that we had attached to the coaster, so we'll select all of these guys back here, hit delete, complete, and we are good to go. Now, since we're already in edit building, I'm gonna add in those ATMs. And now with that done, we are ready to figure out which coaster we want to be doing here. So let's go into custom coasters, sort it by price low to high. Now we've done the interdimensional, the infinite, which I'm probably never going to do again, to be honest. I had a really bad time with that one. So that leaves us with Gold Fever, which I'm saving for an underground coaster that I'll make later on. We have Mind Melt, SLV, the American Arrow, Copperhead Strike, Interceptor, Jixer, and Vector. Vector being the most expensive. These three down here are for adults and teens only, so if I want to keep my options open to all age groups, I think I want to try to do something different here. We're at $3,000 for Copperhead Strike. SLV is at $1,800. We haven't done an upside down or like a, what is this called? Suspended coaster? I don't know if that's the actual term for it, but where there's no floor, you're just kind of strapped into a chair that's attached above you. I think this would be kind of unique, especially if we're gonna do that design where it uses both of these D shapes here. So I'm gonna go ahead and place that down here. We're not going to edit it just yet. We're gonna have to get it positioned first. So unfortunately, with this coaster having the track above the car, that means that this height of a building is not going to work, but I'm not going to change the building. Now hear me out, guys. If we go up here to settings, right? I can hear the fingers already approaching the keyboard or whatever you're watching this on. If we disable the collisions, okay, just for the sake of the station, that would then allow us to add in the coaster station inside of this queue area. So if you look up at the top, the coaster is technically bolting up to this main beam that we have running the length of the station. Seems pretty realistic to me. I know some people are probably not going to be a fan of that, but I'll turn off all the collisions once we actually get started on the track. But we're going to need it for the sake of actually adding the station in here. So I've positioned it about where it needs to be, but we do of course have to elongate the actual station, and we'll extend this out all the way to the end right there. We'll go ahead and place it down officially right here, plop down our entrance over here in the center, and the exit of course is going to be up close next to the operator. So under operations, let's take a look at how many cars we can do here. So we have 10 cars per train at the moment. I think that's a bit excessive. I'm gonna drop that down to a 5, and we should be able to have at least 3 trains, 4 trains. Perfect. 4 trains with 5 cars apiece. That sounds pretty good to me. Let's do the full load, take off the wait time, and the min departure interval, we'll just say 15 seconds for the time being. We'll go through and adjust that later on. Check, don't block the station, and we can add in our priority entrance and exit now. And there you have it. We got our priority queue all figured out now. Let's just finish it off with our exit path off the backside here. Build a staircase down to a flat zone and drag it out to right there. Perfect. And now we are ready to start experimenting with this thing and see what it can do. But before we do that, I'm going to adjust the work roster because I'm gonna forget. I'm very forgetful. So we have the East Central Park. That's the one we decided to go with. Now, this is the East, guys. I'm gonna make that clear. I know my directions now. We're gonna make sure we add in this whole building. That's going to select the ride and the ATMs out front, so we can save that. And now for the fun part. We get to play with the track sections here. So we're gonna do a similar thing with the drive tires, except I'm thinking about taking the drive tires through here instead. It's a little bit center. I think it might be slightly to the right. Now I'm going to turn off the collisions that we have here. Go ahead and apply that, and that should let the coaster be fairly realistic. So with the drive tires, they can't actually go up, which is unfortunate. I really wanted that to work. So we're just gonna start the chain right here if it'll let us. Now, unfortunately, I do think it creates this sort of walkway on the side, which isn't going to work for us, and we can't turn it off by the looks of things. Even if we had it really, really small on this end, I don't think that's gonna work. So I think we're gonna abort mission on that. Let's just try to go the normal direction that we usually go. We're gonna have to turn back on our collisions here just so we can get out of the station. Let's do it real short and bring it out to there. I wanna do as short as we can on the chain lift. We'll go up 60 degrees. You guys, I've kind of learned my lesson now at this point not to do a super huge drop, especially with a coaster like this. I feel like friction is not a thing. So we're just gonna do one incline right here, and we'll lower this back off to 0. 0. So that is the height of this first drop. That's as good as it's gonna get. And now we're gonna make this as long as it can possibly be, a 45, and then up to 0. But right here at the top, I'm gonna angle this 22.5 degrees. We'll angle the one at the bottom 45, and I'm gonna take this around 45 degrees to the right, bring this back to a 0 right here. And now I wanna keep this fairly simple. So I'm gonna do a 45 up. We're gonna do a slight wavy section right here. You guys know I love doing these wavy sections. A lot of our guests seem to really enjoy them as well for whatever reason, but we are going to bring this thing right over top of the queue for power moves and just keep on going till we can't go no mo. We can make this full length again, and I'm just gonna place down a full length piece of track right there, and I wanna see if this is possible. If we're not gonna have enough speed, I will of course raise up the initial drop, but let's hit play and we'll see what happens. Chain lift speed isn't gonna be what I want it just yet. I just wanna see what the excitement and everything is through here. That's pretty good, and fear is like right in the middle. You guys, this could be the best coaster we've done. It does lose quite a bit of speed right here, but I would say that's a success for the start here. This one down here on the end, we're gonna angle to a 22.5. This one will be a 45, make it super long, turn it 45 to the right, and try to go 45 up. Now up here, this is gonna go back to a 0, and the angle is going to go back to a 0. Let's try this just to see if it reaches the top. We got another vendor thinking about quitting. That's gonna change after we finish this coaster, guys. Here we go, up to the top. Can't do it. Okay, so we're gonna have to back that down. That's not a huge issue. We could, I don't know why I didn't think about this too. We could have this angle be a 22.5. Let's extend that out to a 78. Change the angle to a 45. We'll do a 45-degree turn to the right at a 0, no incline. Then right here, we'll bring it back to a 0. I have a feeling this is probably going to get in the way of our station that we would have over here. So just for the sake of testing things, I'm going to duplicate this building, rotate it around 180 degrees, and drag this thing on over to wherever it would land, probably around here somewhere. And look at that. We would literally be cutting off all of the legs of everyone riding this thing. So we have a couple of options of things that we could do here. We could invert the coaster and have people sort of roll on to the top side so they would be facing upside down for this. I think we should give that at least a try. So we're gonna back it up to about here. This one is gonna go to a 90-degree bank, and then this one will go 180. So now they would be flipped up completely upside down. And if we were to just have a straight section of path right here, I'll just place that down like that. So like I said, people are going to be completely upside down. Let's try to grab this building one more time, and we'll see if that is a possibility at all. So the building would be around here, and it looks like it's going to let us place it here. Keep in mind, guys, I didn't turn on our collisions, or I didn't turn off our collisions. And just to prove it, if I come up here into settings, all of the collisions are still properly enabled, and it's going to let us do this. I'm very tempted. I just don't know how much speed it would actually have through this area. Let's place the building down just so we can kind of do a little bit more editing. If I continue the track section over this way and do another 90 to a 270, we'll do a 45-degree angle turn, and then another, so back to 0, so they're back right side up here. We'll shorten this section up quite a bit to about that length, and let's try to do a wavy bit all the way back to the station. So now that we're here, of course, the exit, or I guess the entrance back into the station, is going to be on this back side. So what we're going to have to do is angle this 22.5. A lot of you guys been getting on me about making these angles before the turn, so I promise I'm trying to listen to your feedback and actually do this the right way. We're going to have to do a 45 here, but if we try to do another 45, it's not going to let us do that. So let's do a 90, and we'll shorten it up to about here. We're going to take this angle to a 0, and we should be able to go in between the buildings just like we've done in the past. So just barely making it over that. That actually looks really scary, but I feel like that might just work. And let's try to do some autocomplete magic here. That's not happening. Can it autocomplete from this point? No. Why? Why? I don't understand. This just got difficult. Oh my god, I just realized why it won't autocomplete. It's because of the station. The building itself is getting in the way because we had to have our collisions on for the initial section. So now, I could have done this a long time ago. Wow, okay. I'm gonna try to undo so we get that section over the center back. Okay, it's gonna let me go back that far. That's good news. And it'll let me do the autocomplete, but I don't really like that. So I think I can actually make this happen without the use of autocomplete, which could be nice. And there we go. Got it connected right up. Okay, this is the big moment, boys. This is the biggest moment probably in the history of our coasters thus far. And that is because I have no idea if it's actually going to make it around the track. All right, up the chain lift. This is the first technically drop. It's gonna be very slow, but the excitement right here is just through the roof. We're getting a 10. All the way maxed out excitement. Fear is spot on, dead center where we want it. This is where it's gonna get dicey. I don't even know what it's gonna do there. It actually looked pretty solid. And through this section, it slows way down. I wish I had a booster so I could kind of speed it along here, but as long as it has enough speed to go through this center section, we'll be just fine. Watch your toes there. Back through. It's one of the slower coasters we've done, that's for sure. But man, I bet you the results on this thing are gonna be just phenomenal. And now that I've said that, of course, they're gonna be absolute garbage, but let's fast forward till it gets there. A 6.1, a 3.94, and a 1.92. That's really depressing. We had another staff member quit. Rehire. I thought for sure it was gonna be a lot better than that. Let's take a look at the heat map and see where the excitement starts to die out. Okay, right over there. That's pretty obvious. It's very, very slow through here. Up the first one, it starts to come back, but it really just doesn't have the speed that it once had. I think the best thing to do here is we're gonna pause it for starters. We'll take off the heat map so we can actually see what we're doing. If we edit this area right here and we bring it up ever so slightly, it might carry a bit more speed. And you know what? We might have to bring it up till it's about level with these wavy sections. That looks pretty good. Let's test it out like this, and hopefully it'll have more speed for this section over here. I'm just gonna fast forward it and we'll see what happens. That all looks good through there. Really red through there now. This is definitely going to be a worse score for sure. That's much worse. We have a much worse score now. Okay, so this area right here, deleted. And now we can do another chain lift. That looks pretty good. We'll go with that. Excitement, slightly better. Come on, baby. I need a 7. Yes, 731, 493, and a 412, meaning we have a prestige of 1025. So take a look at this thing. Of course, let me know what you guys think, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan because of the simplicity and the amazing score. Is that better than the Planeteer? No, the Planeteer had an 8 excitement. That's definitely our best one. This one had a 6.92. So really, I mean, that's pretty solid. That's definitely not bad at all. I do think this turn messes things up, so I'm gonna try to tweak it. That angle looks much, much smoother. The entire drop looks a lot smoother. We'll do a test now and we'll see what happens. Start the test. Let's go to the excitement heat map. I know what it looked like before. It's a little better. Definitely a little better. 7.27, a 4.87, and a 3.94. So let's go ahead and ride this sucker around, see what she's capable of. Now, you guys have already seen this section. That's no surprise to you, but this is the new part. It's gonna get kind of weird over here when we have to actually add a station underneath of it. But that all looks pretty good through there. I think the drop may even be a little bit less aggressive than I was hoping for. Then we have this area, very cool through there. Watch your legs. And back into the station. What a coaster, you guys. We did a good thing here. So name-wise for this one, let me know. But I can't think of anything right now. So with that being said, feel free to leave that down in the comments. And if I pick whatever one you suggest, I'll of course give you a shout out in the video. So with these results now, after changing the second drop, we have a 1027, which I believe only went up 3 or 4 points, which is still fine. I'll take it. 1027 divided by 35 would be 2934. So we will charge 2934 for the ride. Operation decorations, everything like that looks pretty solid. Track color, I'm going to keep white, but this game doesn't really make white white. It's more of a light gray, so I'm just gonna brighten everything, make it look a little bit more cheery. The cars could be red. We do already have red. We have a yellow. We don't have a green. I might do a green, actually. We come in here, do like a light green, and then just make it really pop. I kind of dig that. And the restraints will be black. Operator color, we're just gonna do the same thing. Give him some white pants and then a black belt and shoes. Ready for business. So from the factory, I guess you could say, the name is Mind Melt. Not super crazy about that. Hopefully you guys can help me come up with something that's a little bit better. But people are sprinting over here, man. It's hardly been open for, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes, and we already got people running over here, smashing through the queue. Just can't wait to ride this thing. Looks like we already got one person inside the actual queue. There's the second now. Got another Karen over here. Latoya? No. That's not right. Your name is Karen now. Karen Schuler. Now, I apologize if this episode isn't going to be as long as the rest. I have had an absolute crazy week, and it is now 3 o'clock, and I have to have a video out for you guys today. So, this is what we're getting, and hopefully you guys like it. So, once again, if you made it to the end, then you are the exact person that I want to remind about the 2G merch that will be coming soon. Stay tuned for more details on that later on. But if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.